In this episode, I'm here with Matt Kafora, owner of 20 businesses that do over seven figures, seven of which are fitness studios. And today, we're going to talk about how he's reopened all of his studios coming out of quarantine and how he's done it with two broken knees.
If you own a gym or you need a gym, this is your guy.
Hi, I'm Mike Arce, and I've spent most of my career in the fitness industry and helping those in it succeed. And after helping over 2,000 studios and 50 different franchises within the industry, I've learned a lot about what it takes to be successful. Here, I'll teach your studio how to advertise, how to sell, retain more members, increase profits, and become an overall better business owner in the space. And I share it all with you here. Welcome to the GSD Show. Ladies and gentlemen, Matt Kafora. Matt, welcome to the GSD Show again. Is this second or third time you've been on now? I think it's third.
I think it's the third time. Yeah.
Pre-quarantine though, and with two knees that can function perfectly. Different story today.
Very different story today. Yeah. I mean, obviously everyone was shut down for the quarantine, and then, some pretty big life events, man. Lost the ability to walk. So that was tough, right? And then get told, okay, hey, you can open back up. And I'm like, I'm stuck on the couch.
Yeah. So you were in Arizona, and we've been able to be open now for what, about a week and a half?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. And so you've opened now all of your studios?
I have. I opened all seven on just over a week ago.
Okay. And how's it been? Tell us about the experience. What's it been like? More positive than expected? What did you expect? What did you not expect? What's going exactly the way you thought and what's not?
Oh, man. Pretty loaded question there. So the positive, right? Members are super receptive. Members are ready to come back. That's a loaded answer, though. So I say that there was a tremendous amount of preparation that went into making the studios feel safe, making the members feel safe, making everyone want to come back in. Obviously with COVID-19, there's a lot of talk of, contagion and everyone getting sick and the potential for exposure and all these things. So, what I've talked with a lot of our loud rumor clients that we consult with is, you need to position yourself as a solution, right? So everyone is searching for a solution. So a solution for the economy, a solution for COVID, a solution for fitness, a solution for getting back into fitness. And the way that we did that, and we did it across the state, was we really set up a very stringent no-touch protocol, right? So that went into place about 2 weeks prior to opening. My team came in, and I have to give them a tremendous amount of credit. My team came in, they role played, they trained, and we went through this entire process so that way when the doors did open, my members felt very confident, very comfortable coming back, and knew that we were taking this very, very seriously. And so a tremendous amount of positivity from my members. I haven't heard anything negative as far as that goes. As far as the things that I didn't expect, right? It was hard with securing some PPP money and knowing when we were going to open and not open. And, our governor out here in Arizona basically told us the night before, was like, hey, tomorrow gyms can open. We caught a little bit of flack from some people online that we didn't open the next day, right? You had 2 months to prepare. How could you not reopen tomorrow? Unfortunately, I think what a lot of those people forgot is we have to recall staff. We need to retrain on new policies and protocols and safety measures that we're putting in place to ensure the safety of the staff and my team, as well as all of the members that are be coming in. So that was something that was a little bit, okay, go tomorrow, right? So as a state, collectively, the ownership group said, hey, we're going to push this until the 26th. It was the Tuesday after the holiday, and we said, we're going to push this out till. And it worked out very, very well. And here again, we got a tremendous amount of positive feedback on all the social media platforms from our members saying, thank you so much for the care that you took to make sure that we're safe in here. And in fact, all of my managers were very good about collecting member testimonials the first couple days in, and still are doing so, getting feedback from the members. And it's open and it's honest and it's candid. And there's a tremendous amount of individuals saying, wow, thank you so much for taking these precautions. It's always been clean at Orangetheory. Your studios have always been beautiful, but we feel very, very safe in here. We've had those that are a little bit more high risk for whatever reason. We've had those with small children at home, and they're saying, listen, I have 3 small girls at home, 3 small kids at home, and I feel confident and comfortable going to Orangetheory, and you should too. So really, really cool.
Love it. Yeah, I actually want to dive into that a little bit to understand the process because it's been a big, good marketing tool for you throughout this last couple weeks. Class sizes, though. So normally, how many can you fit in an average class, and then what are you looking at now, and how's it affecting you?
Yeah, so normally I run 24 to 36 members in a class, depending if we're running a 2 group or a 3 group. So depending on how the workout's set up. With the current setup and the social distancing guidelines that we have to adhere to, we are running half capacity, right? So I'm running 12 members in class. That's detrimental. I was running full classes before, right? So I was running classes of 24 to 36, 10, 12, 15 classes sometimes a day at each of my locations. And now I have to cut that number in half, and I can only service half of my member base. While they feel confident, they feel comfortable, they feel safe, the unfortunate part is, you want to get in tomorrow for a workout and all of the classes are full, right? So I've had to really pivot on that and determine, is availability more important than the increased payroll costs? And at the end of the day, it is, right? I need to be able to service all of my members. So if that means adding classes in some weird times or some off times, or a little bit earlier, a little bit later, and running classes that I wouldn't normally keep based on the lower attendance, that's been more important, and my members have been much more receptive and appreciative to having those classes available to them than not being able to get in at all, right? So that poses a massive problem as far as members coming back, and that's something that everyone in the industry is a little bit concerned with, right? We don't know what that looks like. We may have gone pre-COVID and we closed down and say we had 1,000 members. What are we coming back with post-COVID or post-quarantine, right? When we're allowed to reopen with these certain guidelines and under these certain restrictions, what does the industry look like? Are we going to get 60% of our member base back? Are we going to get 70, 80, 90%? I think we can all assume we're not going to get 100% back, but here again, it's an assumption. It's a giant question mark there. So, altering comp plans if need be, looking at how we're going to structure our business to make sure that we can keep doors open, keep staff, service all of our members. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns in that, and there's a lot of, think on your feet sort of thing that has to happen.
Right, right. I got a question here from McKenna. She said, are you reserving spots for free trials? Obviously, you guys have done free trials in order to get new members in and really get them to understand what your gym is all about, what your studio is all about. So how are you handling that with limited spots?
Yeah, it's a great question. So here again, what I've recommended to a lot of our coaching clients here at Loud Rumor is, take a couple of those primetime spots, right? Whether it's 5 p.m., 6 p.m., block off anywhere between 1 and 3 based on what your studio can do. Block off anywhere between 1 and 3 spots for those intro or trial offers that you have coming in. It wouldn't be a bad idea to also run some intro-only classes. Here again, you don't want to lose the ability to service your members, right? First and foremost, I need to take care of my paying members who have been deathly loyal to me, who are coming back, post-quarantine. But we're seeing a tremendous influx from individuals who are wanting to get back into fitness. We're seeing a big influx from the big bucks members who, used to go to LA Fitness for $29 a month, and now they're having to reserve times to go work out, and they have an hour to work out, and they don't necessarily have access to the kids club. And there's still a tremendous amount of people in there despite social distancing. You're walking into a giant club, and they just don't feel comfortable. So they're okay moving into the boutique space at the boutique price point and understanding they are going to come into a limited class size with ultra stringent, no touch cleaning policies and procedures in place. And they are moving more towards that. They're wanting to get in. That, coupled with the fact that, quarantine 15 is a real deal, right? People are putting on some weight. They're at home. They're a little bit less active. They're snacking. And here again, if we can position ourselves as a solution, as I said before, a solution for fitness, a solution for people coming back safely and effectively into this space, we're seeing a giant influx of members that way. So yeah, I would highly recommend, reserving a couple spots if you need to in your primetime hours. 1 to 3 spots is my recommendation, and then opening up 1 to 3 intro-only classes and making sure that you're adequately staffed to ensure that you can service those individuals remembering it is their first time in your facility. It is their first time experiencing your brand, your business, your company, and they need to experience a phenomenal workout despite, 12 others in there, or 11 others in there, that it's their first time as well. And you need to take care of all of them and then be able to, service them if they're looking to purchase a membership thereafter.
Yeah. What kind of offers do you recommend running during this time because of that? So, for example, a lot of people used to do like free 2 weeks or free week, free 5-day pass. The fear that you're hearing from fitness studio owners is, well, I don't know if I have that many free spots available. So a lot of people have started doing things like a free week, but the caveat is one of those days within the free week can be an in-person, the other ones can be part of a virtual. Some people are just doing a 3 session or something like that, or it's a free week. You can have one class now and then apply a full week towards a membership. I see a lot of people being creative. What are you doing, or what do you think are some good offer ideas that you're maybe going to be testing here?
Yeah, historically, the free week is the home run offer, right? That is always the best response that we get, is those free 7 days. And 7 days always sounds better than 1 week, right? Seven's a bigger number than one. So that's historically been the best response that I've gotten as far as putting that out there. I'm currently running first session free. Here again, I have a pretty large member base, so I'm more concerned with servicing my members, getting those members back in active. My recommendation is I would do, anywhere between 1 and 3 sessions free to get them in and get them used to the workout, get them sold on the workout, and then get them pre-booking. And that's something that's huge, and that's what I've preached with my team a tremendous amount, is ensuring that we get the pre-booking for a multitude of reasons. The first one, Mike, I want you to have a spot when you come back, right? So if you want to come in Monday at 5 o'clock, so does the rest of Arizona, right? Hey man, we got to get you in here. Secondly is the accountability factor, right? You've been out of Orangetheory, out of the gym, out of fitness, or whether you're brand new to fitness, we have to restart this habit for you. You've been out of this now for 2-3 months or longer if you're brand new to this and you just decide now's the time I want to come into the fitness space. So we have to recreate that habit. We have to rebuild that. And what I want to do is ensure that you have this habit built. So we're going to pre-book your sessions. And, our members are super thankful for that. And it's a conditioning of our members. And it's really important that we do that. We're conditioning our members to, rebuild that habit and rebuild coming back in on a regular basis. So that way they can secure their spots as well. Because our goal at the end of the day is member experience. We need to deliver more wow moments to our members than we deliver pow moments. And that's one way that they can actually take that and help to ensure that we are delivering those wow moments.
Now, you're a performance consultant right now to, I don't know, a lot of fitness studios here through the Loud Rumor Training. What are you hearing as far as percent wise? How many people are open already? How many people are not open, or general? And then what does it seem like? Are the people that are not open, are they all afraid? And the people that are open, are they all excited? What are we seeing with your clients?
Yeah, so with the clients, I'd say less than 50% are open as far as brick and mortar doors open, right? Arizona wasn't hit very hard with COVID-19 and wasn't hit as hard as the rest of the nation, I'll say. That said, there's solution, right? There's ways around this. So while, 40-50% of our clients are open, brick and mortar, the others have pivoted. And that's what you have to do, because at the end of the day, doors close. We are mandated to close nationwide. It's the first time ever this industry has had every single owner and every single business in this space be in the exact same spot. It's never happened. So those that were successful have to pivot, right? We're all sitting on some sort of cash reserve. No matter how large or small that number is, we're sitting on this cash reserve. So we're either going to do something to project some sort of upward trajectory and move us in a more positive direction, or we're doing nothing and we're slowly bleeding out, right? The expenses don't stop. And that's the scary part. Expenses aren't stopping. There's no end in sight because we don't know when we are able to open. So what I've done is coached a lot of these clients to move into the virtual space, right? If they're part of a franchise, if their franchise has allowed them to do so, or given them the tools to make that possible, or if they're the independents, they're truly moving into this virtual space. And as we're seeing, in every industry across the nation these days, we are moving to a more virtual space. There's so many more remote jobs and work from home. We're learning as a nation how to make that happen. So it's really cool that we've taken the fitness space and the fitness industry and pivoted from the brick and mortar and, really moved away from the personal touch and the community that we've built. And we have really learned to do that in the virtual space. So we've put together the EVS platform to really, really propel businesses through there. And the fantastic part is we have actually seen some of our clients come out of this or move through this and net more members than when they were closed pre-COVID, right? So it's insane to me. So you close with 300 members, and right now, while you are still closed, you have 305 paying members. It's mind-blowing to me, but it just goes to show that there are solutions. And if you position yourself as that solution, you use the resources available to you, and you really take part in some sort of coaching and consulting program, that you can have a very successful business despite the turmoil that's happening around.
Yeah. We actually did a survey with 525 in a group with 525 fitness studio owners and managers that we have. And of the participants, you're right, more than half, it was 52% of them have not are not open. 37% are open. The rest are not open and still waiting to even find out when they may open. Like, they don't even have a date. 36% of all of the participants have added between 50 to 99 members at $80 to $199 a month in recurring revenue in a virtual program only, which they created during quarantine only. They didn't have it. They created it during quarantine in order to help them create cash flow and also keep their members paying regularly and engaged throughout the pandemic, because they didn't know how long it was going to go. In some cases, it's still going, right? Many cases, more cases, it's still going. So when it came to a virtual platform, that was a really good move. A lot of people are actually talking about continuing it indefinitely because it's proven to be a really good arm of revenue, which is good. And we're always looking for ancillary sales, and that could be a new one.
For sure. And I mean, you are able to, at this point, expand your marketing ring, right? Typically, we look for about a 3-mile radius of our brick and mortar. Mile number 4, we don't even typically market to that very heavily, if at all. We're talking 5, 6, 7 miles. Like, I'm not touching those individuals on any of my marketing platforms, whether it's direct mail, organic pieces, interactions with my teams, business to business, anything like that. Outside of that 3-mile radius, I typically don't touch. The beauty of social media, the beauty of the virtual space is now, I think of one of our clients, and he actually just said he signed up a member in Chile.
Yeah.
Right. Mind you, a US-based business, veteran-owned, fantastic guys who own this business, and they signed up a member. They're headquartered out of the East Coast, out of Virginia, I think, and they signed up a member in Chile. Right? Like, they would have never, ever marketed to this individual ever, but somehow, unbeknownst to them, they received this marketing, whether it's organic through Facebook or social media or whatever it was, and they now acquired a member in another country in this virtual space, and that person is helping contribute to their cash flow. It's mind-blowing to me, and it's so awesome that people have learned and have been able to make this pivot and ensure that they're keeping afloat. And like I said, ensuring that they have cash flow, that they can bring back their teams, that they're still servicing their members. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. So I want to go into some numbers here, especially in how you're able to generate money, because you found some ways to generate some ancillary sales to make up for the profits that you're not getting by filling up your classes as much as you like. And so before we dive into that, though, I got to ask, man, dude, you were running these studios, quarantine hit, but you were in a unique position where your studios are part of a franchise where you weren't able to collect dues. So you had to just wait it out, right? You could generate money even if you wanted to, right? You just waited it out.
Yeah, March 17th, I flipped the switch off, right? All of the studios in the state of Arizona, we flipped the switch off. So all 7 of mine and all the other ownership groups flipped it off. My revenue went to 0.
But you still had employees, and you still had costs, and you still had rent, you still had all that stuff, right?
I had payroll to write 3 days later, right? My payroll was due on the 20th of the month. So I had my landlords, hands out on April 1st asking, where's my rent? Right. I still had the overhead of all the insurance and the utilities and everything else. Right. Yes. It doesn't stop. And unfortunately my revenue did. So, I mean, turn the water off and try and fill up your water bottle. Like, it's just not there. It's a very scary place to be, especially with any sort of personal guarantees that you have on any outstanding loans or leases and things like that. And it's a scary place to look and see, like, this is your life's work or the last decade of my life, and it's at a tipping point right here. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to generate cash flow. I don't know what this looks like long term. I don't know where the end in sight is. I don't have that light at the end of the tunnel. It's not, hey, you're going to reopen in 30 days from now. We don't know. So I was closed over 60 days, and it's a really scary place to be. So there's a lot of process that went into place as far as even, negotiating with landlords and, working through that process to ensure that, yes, we were in a financial position to reopen, to retain the staff, to be able to service my members again. And it's a really scary place to be.
Well, as scary as it was, it got scarier over time as the date kept getting pushed back. And then just where you figured out you'd be able to open up, just when that date was released, you broke both your knees at the same time. How did that happen?
Yeah.
How does that even happen?
Yeah, so I was helping my parents move actually some fitness equipment, right, as a piece of cardio equipment, and I was walking backwards carrying half of this equipment and didn't see the ramp to get up into the U-Haul. Tripped, fell backwards, and went down. It went down hard. I didn't really realize what had happened until I looked down, and my knees were a mess, man. Originally, I couldn't get up. Everyone realized the severity of the situation. Hey, let's call 911 real quick. You have a 280-pound man laying on the ground, and I'm laying there in the fetal position. Knees are bent. Like, something's wrong, right? Fire shows up, and they said, it looks like you dislocated both kneecaps. And me, having a little bit of, A&P and anatomy and physiology background and knowledge, I'm thinking, like, okay, a dislocated kneecap, that's best case scenario, right? Like, that's okay. They'll have me bite down on a stick and straighten my leg and pop it back in and call it a day, right? It's going to hurt a little bit for a second and we'll be done. As I laid there, I wasn't in a tremendous amount of pain, and that's not me being a tough guy. I'm not sure if it was adrenaline or I just have a crazy high pain tolerance, which you and I have talked about before.
Well,
but
what's the name I gave you? Hold on. Rhinocaine, because you have the pain tolerance of a rhinoceros on Novocaine. That's what I think I said.
Yeah, it's and it's not playing tough guy. It truly is. I have a decently high pain tolerance, right? That pain threshold for me is pretty high. But I'm laying there and I'm like, something's wrong. Like, I can't bend my legs at all. Like, I can't straighten them. They are stuck where they're at, and something's wrong. They're obviously, physically, they look pretty bad. Fire shows up to get me loaded in and end up taking me to the hospital. As time progressed and that day went on, I learned that I tore both patellar tendons and some other surrounding connective tissue in there. So I literally had not much connecting my upper leg to my lower leg. That was literally hanging on by strings. Yeah. So that was interesting. That was a week before I knew I was opening. So wow, talk about a pretty crushing blow.
Now, one of the things that the reason you have so many consulting clients between you and Corbin here at Loud Rumor is because it's not so much that you guys have been able to run businesses, run studios, and it's not so much because you've been able to grow them, but it's because you've been able to grow them with an incredible staff that's been able to run them without you having to be there, right? And so how important was it that you built a business that way during you having 2 broken knees?
It's hugely important. I mean, I was confined to, I had surgery that night. It was that dire that they fixed it that day, right? So this happened at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and by 8 o'clock that night, I was in surgery. So literally 12 hours later, I was in surgery. I came out at, I don't know, midnight that night, and all I'm thinking is, how am I going to do this, right? The doctor told me, literally, I was in pre-op. That was the first time I met the doctor, first time I talked to the doctor, first time I had spoken to really anyone about this. And he says, okay, we're going to go in here. We're going to make this incision. We're going to reattach this. We're going to do this. And in 4 to 6 months, you're going to have to learn to re-walk. All right, you ready? Wow. Okay, sign here. And I'm thinking, like, what just happened, right? So, like, you always have a sense of anxiety or angst prior to going, under anesthesia into a surgery. If you haven't experienced that before, it's something, no matter how calm you are, there's always a little bit of, anxiety about it, right? And then he tells me, 33 years old, you are literally going to have to relearn to walk in 4 to 6 months. Okay. And like I said, he wheels me into surgery. I come out of surgery and I was in some excruciating pain, right? So I had to fight through the pain first. Once they somewhat managed my pain, that was my first thought is, how am I going to do this? I have to reopen my businesses. I'm responsible to, 150 employees, thousands of members. I have the green light to do this. I have to turn the revenue back on. I have financial responsibilities. How am I going to do this? Right. And it didn't go without incident, right? I lost some staff in this process, and I lost some very key staff, some staff that have been with me for years and years on end for a multitude of reasons. But yeah, even those key players, I had to really, really call them back and say, hey, I'm in dire straits. I need you more than I've ever needed you before. I've taken care of you, I feel like, for quite a few years. Can you do me this solid and come back and help me out through this process? I truly, truly need you. And they did, right? So taking care of your people is huge, making them feel appreciated, building a culture where they want to help, where they want to rebuild, where they want to regrow the business is huge. And I'm very, very fortunate to have a lot of those individuals on my team that are ready and willing and said, okay, yes, let's do this. I'm ready to go and make this happen.
Love it. Love it. Is that you in the back?
Yeah.
I know you're at the house where is that where you have another business, dog training, right?
Yeah.
Is that place? Are you staying there?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, by the way, as a quick side note, before we jump back into the numbers of fitness here, Matt's dog training company has trained the hell out of my two dogs as well. And I've got two very obedient dogs just sitting there right now smiling, which is very, very cool. All right.
That's
So
awesome.
So yeah, you got these studios now, half classes. You're going to have more time between each class, which means you can't service as many people. That can cut into your profit. But we talked a lot about ancillary sales and finding ways to generate income in other ways. So obviously, we talked about the virtual platform. That one makes sense. But you also talked to me about penalties and fees. So talk to me about that a little bit more and what you charge, when you charge it, and how those numbers add up at the end of the day.
Yeah, so now more than ever, we're called late cancel fees, right? Are really important to us. And I hate to even say that it's a penalty to our members. My team spins it as a positive, right? It's an accountability piece for us, and it's a way that we can reserve your spot, just like you would in a hotel, right? Make a reservation in a hotel. If you don't cancel that in time, here we are, and we are holding that room that someone else now can't use either, right? So I'm going to have to charge you for it. So in lieu of charging them anything astronomical, we charge them $12, right? And that's their late cancel fee. Now, envision if we have, say 2 of those per class, and we have 10 classes a day. So that's $24 per class that we're able to, get ancillary sales in. But more importantly to that $24, I'm actually able an additional 2 members. Right? If you cancel or you don't show and someone else doesn't show, and I'm able to move 2 people in off the wait list, I've now taken care of 2 additional members. In addition to that, yes, we do charge that for that accountability factor and for the fact that you held that spot from someone else. So now say there's 2 of those per class, that's $24. Say I'm running 10 classes a day, that's an extra $240 per day, over the course of say 30 days. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of money. We're talking that's almost $7,500. Yeah. That's crazy, and that's all bottom line.
I'm typing that in here. I'm putting it up on the screen. So $24 a class. If you got 2 classes at $12 a class, and you break up as many classes you have at the end of the month, that's $7,500. And that's really just goes right to profit because there's no cost associated with that. Plus, you opened up 2 more spots for people that you can come in, even if it's just offers, right?
Correct.
Perfect. Other ancillary sales that you guys have. You don't do supplements where you're at, right? That's not a part of your guys' system. But you do have heart rate monitors, right? And so talk to me about the heart rate monitors and how what do the financials look like around that?
Yeah, so the heart rate monitors for me, the heart rate monitors are presented with every membership. It's not really an option with our memberships because that's what Orangetheory is, right? We are heart rate based interval training. So without having the heart rate monitor attached to the membership, unfortunately, any heart rate based, training becomes a very expensive workout because we don't have the science behind it, right? And that's what we preach. So the heart rate monitor comes with the membership, which is great for new members and new membership sales. A decent profit margin on that, but it doesn't help my existing member base, right? So all that does with my existing member base is create that stickiness factor. So that way you don't ever decide, hey, this just becomes a really expensive workout, and no longer is this, the Orangetheory workout that you're going with there. So definitely heart rate monitors. You want to ensure that if you're running a heart rate based, workout there, that yes, I mean, you want to create that stickiness factor. And what that does more than the ancillary sales right up front is that provides member retention, right? So instead of 90 days, now I'm looking at 9 months, and what that adds up to over the course of those. Something that I joked with some of the clients, and I say joking because it almost sounds so minuscule, but it's crazy. And I know you kind of talked about this a little bit as well, but water sales, right? So with COVID-19 thing, to keep things safe, we are shutting down and no the water fountain and the fill bottle station and all that stuff. We shut that down, kind of taped that off, and said, we want to ensure safety of everyone. Let's keep this closed for now. We do sell water at the front, right? We sell bottles of water for $1, right? And everyone's thinking like $1. You're not going to get rich off $1, Matt. You're right. I will never get rich off $1. But when that bottle of water costs me 6 cents and I sell it for $1, you ask any business person in the entire world, you call Mark Cuban and ask him right now, and he's like, that's an insane margin, right? And it is. It's an insane margin. But more important than that, I'm providing solution to my members who, oh, shoot, I forgot my water. Oh, shoot, I didn't bring water. No problem. You just want me to bill this to your account? Yeah, it's only $1. No problem, right? So we're providing solution there. We've gone through a tremendous amount of water over the first week that we've been open, like cases and cases of water, hundreds and hundreds of bottles of water, to where, at 6 cents a piece and with a 94% margin on that, like that's pretty good.
Yeah. There's this really great book I'm reading right now. Have you ever heard of Claude Hopkins?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he wrote this book. I don't know if you can see with the light, but it's My Life in Advertising and Scientific Advertising. He's the reason we all brush our teeth every day. So toothpaste has been around before him, like 5, 6 other brands, but he's the reason that we don't brush our teeth like we put on sunscreen, where it's just when we're about to do something that we would want clean teeth for, right? Like people put on sunscreen because they're about to go outside in the sun. And people used to brush their teeth when like they had tooth decay or they were about to go out. That's pretty much it. Whereas now it's like it's a normal thing, and you can't even believe that there was a time where that didn't happen. It wasn't even too long ago. And he's the reason we wash our clothes as often as we do. We used to just hang them up over the balcony or over the ledge and let them like air dry out. And that was pretty much it. People didn't wash their clothes every time they wore it, or not even every few times. He's the reason we actually, Febreze even blew up. This guy's pretty incredible. And he's one of the best advertisers in the world. But one of the things he talks about is creating a habit where you have a trigger or a cue, and then you have a routine, and then you have a reward. And so the trigger was, okay, feel your teeth. If it feels like it's a little like filmy, that means you probably want to brush. But every morning, if you don't have that minty flavor, that's a sign too. Then the routine is brush every morning, right? Every morning, not every day, but every morning when you first wake up, because that mouth, you're going to have that taste. And then the reward, the reason a lot of people didn't actually get their toothpaste off the ground was because they didn't have that signal that I actually accomplished it. So he added that minty flavor. That minty flavor didn't exist. It was just a normal oily type texture, right? And so now that was reward. Now you know you cleaned your teeth. And the same thing goes for laundry, the way it smells, and Febreze. But we talked about other examples as well in this book. And with fitness, I'm wondering how we can actually create that habit. Like I actually had a Mountainside Fitness for about 2 years. Here was the habit I had for about 2 years. I worked out. After I worked out, I immediately went to the smoothie bar and I got a smoothie and I left. And it was weird not leaving. It got to the point where as soon as I was done with my workout, my body just went there. I didn't even think about it, which is what a habit is, right? But think about the margins that added. I paid $41 a month for my gym membership. I paid about $4 per smoothie. I worked out, let's say 22 times per month, right? So 22 times 4, I spent $88, more than twice as much on smoothies than I did my membership. And it has higher margins than it does a membership because it doesn't have the payroll costs and all the stuff that comes along with it. So when we talk about companies like Mountainside, McDonald's, right? They don't make their monies off the burger. They make their money off the fries and the shake. So I'm wondering if we could do something where there was a message aligned with, hey guys, after your workout, here, make sure you get a ice cold bottle of water, like you want to have it immediately. As soon as your workout's over, get it down to first thing you want to do, replenish your body, get it in, and make it ice cold. So there's that sensation, that cold feeling going down because you feel it when you're hot, right? And then we can just we can increase water sales, because if you have right now 12 members, if we can get 9 of them or 8 of them to get a bottle of water every time, make an extra $7 or $8 per class. At the end of a day, you made an extra $70 or $80 per day. That's what, an extra $2,100 per month. Extra $2,100 per month. Doesn't like right? Now anybody listening that goes $2,100 doesn't seem like a lot of money. Well, if it doesn't seem like that much money, give it to me. It seems like a lot of money out of your pocket, right? But it doesn't seem like a lot of money when it goes in. So it's a lot of money at the end of the year. It's 24 grand. But it doesn't seem like a lot of money. Give me 24 grand in a year, right?
Sure.
So
yeah.
Don't mind, you keep that habit going. Once your classes go to 24 or 36 members per class, you've now tripled your profit. That's a $70,000 profit on just water, right? Which is crazy.
Sure.
All right. Awesome. Matt, I got to ask the toughest thing that business owners have to deal with, especially in a service-based business, is making the right moves for their people and having tough conversations. Did you have to lower pay when reopening? Are pays adjusted? If I'm a coach for you or a studio manager or front desk or any positions as a whole, have you had to consider that, and have you had to have those conversations? How'd that go?
Yeah, I did. Right. And it's a hard conversation to have. And it's hard to not feel like you are taking away from your team, or it's hard to not feel like you can't provide what you could before. And it's a more than just an ego blow. It's a crushing blow, right? It's just hits you to your core. And it's true. I mean, if you care about your team at all, it's a very difficult thing to think about. Well, great. Now I'm going to potentially negatively impact my team's life based on what I can provide them, but I'm asking for a tremendous amount from them. And that's a really hard conversation to have. That's a really hard, conversation to have with myself prior to having with them, right? So I did lower some of the salaries for my managers. They took about just shy of 20% salary reduction. My coaches, who were making an astronomical amount of money prior to, based on the number of heads in the class, are now limited to a certain dollar amount based on the heads in the class that not even myself was putting in place, but the powers that be and the governing bodies, right, that are forcing us to adhere to these social distancing guidelines and things. So I mean, my trainers have taken a pay cut, and everyone is looking to see how they can make the most money possible. What I have done in reducing the salaries is I've restructured the comp plan for my managers and made it more growth oriented. And that was a very candid conversation that I had with a lot of my team was, hey, I'm looking for utility players. I'm looking for those individuals who are coming back because the entire industry nationwide is in this unknown. We don't know what we're coming back into. We don't know what that looks like. I don't know what the cash flow looks like. I don't know if I can afford what I was paying you before. But I'm asking you to trust me in this. I'm asking you to understand that I've taken care of you and that I will continue to take care of you. We are just going to structure this in a way that is more production oriented and growth and goal oriented, to where you can make the same amount of money, if not more, based on what you are producing to help grow the business back to where it was and then beyond.
Love it, man. What about with the fitness studio owners that you coach right now? Um, what kind of advice do you have for them? And obviously, a lot of them, like you said, through the coaching. That I mean, it's awesome that you and Corbin have been able to guide that light. A lot of them have been able to be profitable throughout quarantine, which is good. But now that we're post and we're reopening, what are the words that what are you telling them in order to get them optimistic about the future? What do you get them excited about the future? What do you believe they and other fitness studio owners should be thinking right now?
You know, if you do it right, and here's what I'm doing, Mike. I just opened up, like I said, a week ago, right? I opened up truly a week ago, and I am literally doing everything that I'm telling our clients to do. And that's the beauty of that, right? I had a manager call me. I don't know, it was 10 o'clock that morning. I think I was texting you at the same time. 10 o'clock that morning, my manager's like, man, I got some new members up. I got some members up. I got some new members up. By the end of the day, he had sold 14 new memberships that day, doing everything that I told all of our clients to do, which is really cool. Like, you ever have a business coach, or you ever talk to somebody who wants to kind of pound their chest and say like they've done it, but they're not actually doing what they're telling you to do? Like, I literally did everything that I coach our clients to do, and it works, right? We ended up with some tremendous numbers out the gate. They've continued on the rise. That same manager is texting me this morning. He has 3 memberships up by 11 o'clock again this morning. And I'm like, mind you, we're running half capacity classes. We're still in this COVID-19. There's still stuff going on. And he's like, man, another 3 memberships coming in. Hey, we got people coming in here. Fitness is not dead. Fitness is still alive. All we need to do is be very, very transparent with our members. Make sure your team and your members know exactly what is happening. Make sure you're following these systems and processes, and make sure you take it seriously, right? Because it's not just an optics thing, right? I want to ensure the safety of my team. I want to ensure the safety of my members. And I want to let them know, like, hey, we are the solution. And we position ourselves as that solution. And fitness isn't dead. It's not going away. It's coming back, and it's more lively than I anticipated, which is really cool.
Yeah. Do you recommend people advertise right now?
Absolutely.
Why?
Here again, they need to recognize that we are that solution, right? We have to be at the forefront of their brain. We have to show that we are alive and well, and we are looking to ensure that we can service and provide solution to them, because that's what they're looking for, right? We're looking for some sort of safe place, some sort of outlet during all of these crazy times that we're going through. Now is the time. And with the Facebook bidding system, more often than not, we're going to see our ad costs and our lead costs lower than they were pre-COVID. Now's the time. Let's generate this pipeline. We don't know what our member base coming back in is. So what we need to do is make sure that we're adding fuel to that fire, adding new members to that, to ensure that we can sustain business. So, if you're not spending those monies on marketing, you're doing something wrong.
That was one of the things that we actually did in our research and survey as well. I'm gonna share some numbers here that are pretty cool and pretty enlightening as well. Let me see if I can find it here. The lead costs have gone down quite a bit. Here we go. So over the last 76 days, we did research. The average ad budget for each studio that participated during this program was $1,686.51 per month. That's what they were spending in ads per month during this time. And then what we realized was lead cost was down by nearly 32%. As of right now, lead cost is down about 32% of what it was in January and February. So it's down by 32%. But over the last 76 days, it was as low as 25 times less than averages that we saw in January and February. So what this meant was, as lead costs around $15, if let's say you had a lead cost around $15.50 per lead, if that's what you were paying, you may have seen lead costs as low as 62 cents at your lowest during quarantine, which is pretty cool. Right now, obviously, you may see more like $10 or $11 versus $15.50, but still, when you do the math on the amount of extra leads you can get without increasing your budget, it's really remarkable. Also, what's really great is people that are like, oh, I don't know if people are ready to buy yet. Well, you can afford that. And so another research we did and so we broke down, if you're used to getting leads at $10 per lead, right? Let's say that's what you were paying, $10 per lead. And let's say you're used to closing pre-pandemic, you're used to closing at 20% close rate. Well, that means if you got 100 leads, it would have cost you $1,000 for those leads, right? $10 a lead times 100 leads. But you would have closed 20 of them if you had a 20% close rate. And when you do that math, you spend $1,000 to get 20 members. What that means is you paid $50 to get a new paying member, correct? With that math.
Yep.
Okay. Now check this out. If a lead drops down to, let's say, $2 per lead, which is five times cheaper, you could technically afford to close 5 times worse than normal and end up with the same cost per acquisition, right? So in this example, $1,000 would get you 500 leads. And if you closed only 4% of your leads, which is 5 times worse closing rate, if you close only 4% of your leads, you're still ending up with 20 paying members at $50 cost per new member. Cool thing is what we are noticing is even with it is a lower closing rate. People aren't closing as well for 3 reasons. Number one, they've never sold over the phone. They've never sold virtual, and they've never sold during a pandemic. So rightfully, it makes sense that we are closing at a lower percentage, but it's not as low as 4%. It's not as low. So what that means is when you do the math, as long as your lead costs drops by an amount that's higher than your conversion rate, right? Droppage. So if that's the case, you actually can still end up better with better numbers overall now than you did before because you're paying less per lead, less per acquisition, and therefore you can close at a lower rate. As long as that rate's not too much lower, then you're able to actually make out on your marketing return better than you did during a booming economy when everyone's running ads, when everyone's got options and everyone's got opportunities and you're competing against everyone. Right now, your competition, everyone's been complaining, right? It's too saturated. It's too saturated. Not only in the marketplace, but on Facebook and Instagram, it's too saturated. Well, there you go. Now we got that out of the way.
Yep.
Here's what you wanted. So pretty cool. Actually, I'm going to be posting more and more numbers. We're going to be doing a lot more of these studies and research. So anybody that wants to get these numbers and studies, you can go to loudrumor.com and get into our insider email list, and we'll actually be sharing that out with you. Also, if you want to learn more about working with us, you can get in the group. We share these stats live all the time. Call 480-567-9794. If you want to work closer with people like Matt regularly, you can go ahead and call 480-567-9794, and we'll go ahead and get you guys plugged in with Matt, Corbin, other studio owners that are crushing it right now. And right now we got 525 people in that Facebook group that are just itching to share what they're doing and how they're doing it. They do it every day. So Matt, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Anything else you want to add before we head out?
I think we covered it all, man. I'm very grateful to have me on again. And like I said, fitness is not dead. Do it right, and you will win.
Bomb drop right there. That's a bomb drop. See, I got these sound effects now on my switchboard, and I can do that. I can do this because this is you.
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
All right, man. For everyone watching, for everyone listening, thank you so much for tuning in. Matt, thank you so much for being a guest again. We will see you next week.